welcome. There are a number of things I'd like to talk to you about.
Sure.
Basketball feels sort of secondary at the moment.
Yep.
I think you understand and respect that. Just tell us just what you're thinking about as a longtime market watcher and participant, and then we'll get to the other side of your life in just a moment.
You know, I'm just as concerned and confused and uncertain as everybody else. You know, I'm a long-term bull in terms of our country, and, you know, at some point the markets will be higher. I just don't know when. I dipped my toe in. I bought some Live Nation. I thought it took too big a hit, but I bought it 2 days ago, so I'm underwater there. But like I said, I'm a long-term holder there. I bought some Twitter today. I'm a long-term holder there. I have, you know, I own shares going into this decline. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen or when, but I think long-term will be okay.
So you went through the dot-com bust.
Right.
You came out good on the other side. We all know
Right.
that. You went through 08, which people say this bears no resemblance to, and now we're going...
I mean, in 08, I killed it. I mean, literally, I was stupid. I bought, at one point, I owned almost 5% of CBS and a couple other companies, and I sold too soon. That was the deleveraging that kind of explained everything. In this particular case, you have oil. We have uncertainty in terms of what the overall impact of the economy is going to be. We went up so fast, like you said, we haven't even got to the December 2018 lows. So anybody who truly has been a buy and hold person, you know, you feel the pain because you look at your 401 or you look.
Well, I do think that we do have some companies that don't need a bank to make money, that are AAA. You know, you take a Johnson & Johnson, you can go that way. That's an unbelievable company. It just keeps going lower. It was a great company to buy, by the way, in Monday of 1987. It hung in. I do think that, and Mark, I'd like to hear your view on this. What would happen? We know the federal government gets paid by everybody, every entity, every person. We know the federal government could borrow easily if Treasury and somehow Congress would get together $500 billion to be able to pay the
Jim,
government's
I heard
bills.
what you said this morning, and I think you're right on.
Really?
I even told a congressman this morning that the SBA should be way ahead of this, and there should be money so that any small business in particular can get a quick turnaround $100,000 or $250,000 loan if they don't lay anybody off. Because you're exactly right. Because where this starts to cascade is where you start to see small businesses that can't, you know, you're a vendor for badges for South by Southwest. You're a vendor for, you know, who knows what, boots for the rodeo that just got canceled. You're the one that's going to be most at risk. And when you fire those folks because you can't make payroll or lay them off, then that obviously creates other issues, and that along with schools being canceled and that creating more stress, and you know, you need to have a backing from the government.
Right.
You know, I get your point on the big business, but also I think more importantly, small businesses, because they're the ones with the least access to capital.
That's the base of our country, Mark. You and I both know it. And they've done nothing.
Yep.
They haven't done reckless things. They didn't buy at the top. They weren't taking Tesla at 900. These were people who they are just making payrolls.
So I'm wondering on that note, Mark, you know, the great portion of the population, including our primetime viewership, knows you as a cast member on Shark Tank and an investor there. What are you telling your portfolio companies to do right now? There's, you know, that note that came out from Sequoia last week called this the black swan of 2020 and had some pretty stark suggestions for their portfolio businesses. What are you telling them?
Well, my Shark Tank companies are typically smaller, and so they're more regional in nature. So where you happen to be in a region that's been hit strongly, you know, they've got issues. I mean, I lent one some money this morning, and so I'm gonna just try to help them, you know, fight through it, and hopefully we get through to the other side in, you know, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it may be. But that's really what it's going to take, just somebody there to, you know, to just help them make payroll if that's the case.
You still own a theater?
No, we sold Landmark.
Okay.
But I do own part of a company called RDI. I own some shares there, but I've owned those forever.
Let me pivot to basketball now, if I may.
Sure.
Your look on TV last night, frankly, told the whole story when you were notified about Rudy Gobert. Notified.
I'm going to be a meme for the rest of my life.
Now we know that, you know, another player has tested positive as well. How concerned are you about the membership of the NBA right now?
Very. Very. I mean, after our game last night, I went into the locker room. Obviously, guys were concerned. And let me take a step back. Before the game, I went in, and guys were curious about, what the conversations were going on in our league board of governors call. And one of the players asked, if I thought that the season might be postponed or canceled. And I said, maybe there's a 5 to 10% chance of that happening. And then you saw my reaction when I heard it. And then after the game, I was very specific to the players. I'm like, look, this is not time off. This is not like a lockout. This is not the season ending and you just go home and go about your business. You guys are at the epicenter of all of this. You have to effectively self-quarantine. I was talking to guys this morning, stay inside, because one of the challenges in being, a celebrity, an NBA player, everybody comes up to you, everybody touches you, everybody wants to hug you, everybody wants to take a picture with you. And so you are much more at risk than a typical person would be. And not only that, not only are you at risk of catching it, because you may be asymptomatic because all these guys are younger, you're also at risk of being a carrier because so many people come up to you. And so that leads to two issues. One, we don't want to make things worse in the community. So we're really going to try to keep our eye out on our guys and talk to them and actually keep them busy. The league has said it's okay to continue to have practices and skill sessions and rehab and workouts. And that's going to be important because, it's tough for a 23, 25-year-old guy or person to just sit in their house all day and self-quarantine. And two, we don't want to be spreading the disease in the community, because so many people come up to us. And so we're going to have to keep track of everybody. We don't, because what would kill the NBA season is, it's horrible that two players have it, but for whatever reason, to provide a base, to provide support, we need to do that because, and I'm not saying this as a socialist, I'm saying this as a pure capitalist because it's a smart thing to do because by supporting our communities and keep them at a steady state or helping them where they need help, we support all the stakeholders around us. We keep business vibrant that way. We help small businesses keep people employed and stay in business. And that helps bigger businesses. So, I'm not a fan of trickle down, but I'm certainly a huge fan of trickle up. And every single CEO, every single entrepreneur, every single person who runs a company, manages a company, has got to be cognizant of the impact of all their decisions. And I think that's an important message, and we try to get that across to our players where they have an impact and to our companies where I'm an investor and wherever else I can get the message across.